Hey Doug, how did you like your acoustic music coffee?
It was fantastic.
So we're going to talk about acoustic music coffee for just a second. Is that are we recording? Acoustic Coffee Company. So Jerry, we're going to get some of this. But these guys are sponsoring this. Basically, what this means is when you listen to this,
yes,
that means that I get to tell them my guest's address and they send them free coffee. So
that's awesome.
This works out well because, as it turns out, a lot of everybody's been talking to me pro bono. So now it's pro caffeinated.
I don't work, without at least 3 cups of coffee.
3 cups of coffee.
Yeah. I think it's the secret to my success is being so jacked up that
oh my
God. I just fight through the imposter syndrome and just go right for it. We haven't talked about colors. You want to talk about colors?
Yeah. Do pigments ever come up for you, or is it all done?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Go back to the first set of things on there. Yep.
This.
Yep. Okay, so right there, these are, I'll say, the main things that I use all the time. And really the things that I use all the time are in the center. The 2 dyes, the orange, the old wood orange, black, and Kramer Indian yellow. And
is this the Indian yellow, or is this the Indian yellow?
Well, that is also an Indian yellow, but it's a very different Indian yellow. And also the burnt umber, which is standing there in front. Those 4 things I probably use 90% of the time.
These are pigments, correct?
Well, the things on the right are all pigments, and the things on the left are all dyes.
Okay.
I may be alone, and I might not be. I do know I have some colleagues and friends who also work similarly. I always use a combination of dyes and pigments, because for me, when I just use dyes, it looks too much like Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And when I use too much pigments, it looks like paint.
Yeah.
So working with both, I find, gives me what I'm looking for. Yellow is for violins is a crazy important color. The yellows that I use most, I have 2 different Indian yellows, the one in the middle and the one on the very far end. Yeah. And then right next to the one in the middle is a yellow called Lake of Reseda.
Is this guy right here?
No,
or no, right
there. Yep, that's Lake of Reseda, and it's very, very, very pale, and I find that to be incredibly useful because a lot of times you get coatings where it's extremely pale. The yellow is very, very pale, and I use that. I also have yellow dyes that I don't have here as well. I play around with yellow a lot because a lot of times, depending on how the hue of the yellow, you can mix a bunch of different yellows together and get something approaching an orange, which is very useful. Moving from on the left hand side, we can talk about those. The ones in the jars, those are Hammerl liquid. Those are Hammerl dry powders that are soluble in alcohol, and that's what I use to color Scotch-Brite with. That's my favorite thing to color Scotch-Brite with. And I've got a bunch of them, but most of the time it's a yellow and a black most of the time, which gives me the color I'm looking for with Scotch-Brite. I find the old world alcohol colors, which are the things in the center, to be some of the best dyes on the market. I don't know what they've added to them or done with them.
Old World is a brand?
Old Wood 1700
okay.
is a company in Spain. You can either order direct from Spain, or their wholesaler in the US is Metropolitan Music in Vermont. It's just nice. Like the way it behaves on the brush, it's really a joy to work with. Moving over on the right hand side, the colors that I use probably most over there, that blue gets an awful lot of use.
Yeah.
because blues will cool stuff down pretty nicely. I don't use red a whole lot. Probably the thing that gets the most use besides the yellows is that lamp black. That's right in front. Yep. And the thing to the right, I don't remember what that is. It's some sort of earth. The name of it's escaping me right now. Smells awful. Smells like horse shit when you open the bag, but it works great for when you need a really opaque yellow.
So we deal with that a lot in guitars, which is, like I love the trans tint stuff, but all of his stuff is like trying to make Russian Easter eggs or something. It's all so bright.
Yeah.
And
the old wood is very different. Yeah. You can buy they have a sample pack that you can buy. I think it's $40 to $60 for their sample pack, and you get a couple of mLs of every color they make. It's worth trying.
And those come pre-dissolved?
Oh yeah, it's a liquid. You drop it out.
Any idea compatibility with lacquer or? No
idea whatsoever.
No, we'll find that out.
What are you using the blue for?
So really you can get to any color you want with the 3 primary colors.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times if you have something that's too much on the red side, particularly brown, I mean, obviously a lot of violins are brown. If you've got a brown that's too much on the red side, you can add a little drop of blue to it and it completely mellows it out. So that's what I use blue for.
I'm assuming because you got enough yellow in there that you're making the complementary color of green. But I see you must have a red. Is that a red squirreled away back in there?
That is a red right there, and I use it just like Churchill making a martini, where he bows towards France. A lot of times I just look at the red, and that's enough. Red is the friend that sneaks its other friends to the party.
I'm always telling kids about red ambush. Like it's just a constant thing. And that thing that you're talking about how you can mix your yellows together and get to orange, like if your yellow has a look of orange to it, it's got a red component, and it's going to sneak up on you.
Correct. That's why, like, the 3 main colors I use all the time are orange, yellow, and black. There's the orange is enough. Like I almost don't ever want a red. There's very few classes of instruments where I reach for that red. That bottle will probably outlive me.
Yeah, I use red, like occasionally I'll make like a light red and thinner and just give it like a over the thing with the airbrush, and that's about as often as I use red. But that's a good assortment. I definitely want to get that sampler pack of the old wood.
I don't know if there's anything, if you want to scroll forward, we didn't talk about brushes or anything, like we can go forward a little bit. These are the main weapons I use. Those are a couple, the brushes I love are Reserva Escoda. It's a red sable brush. Sorry to the animal lovers out there, but it works really, really, really well. And my main airbrush is the Rich Pen Phoenix. I have a 213 and a 212.
So this is a pointer.
These are all three others are points. Then you've got one on the left that is a flat.
Flat.
Yeah, and then the airbrush.
You mess around with liners at all, or just pointers?
Just pointers most of the time.
Okay.
And I'll abuse the pointers for stippling. Like you can kind of mash them in, and it puts a really nice diffuse color on.
I might want to see that technique. I might have to do a video supplement. Who's your airbrush?
That's a Rich Pen Phoenix. I'm not sure how available it is now. Rich Pen is, I think it's made by Iwata. I'm not sure. But years ago, when I was looking at getting an airbrush system, my friend and mentor Jeff Holmes was like, "Get a Rich Pen," and so I did. Nowadays, they're like I think they're around $300. I've got a one with a 0.2 millimeter nozzle and a 0.3 millimeter nozzle. Most of the time, I use a 0.2. my compressor is a Iwata Power Jet Pro. It's got a tank and an air trap, and
Is it quiet?
oh, it's very quiet.
Yeah.
Very quiet.
I'm still using my nailer compressor.
Oh, dude. No,
Rough.
that is no bueno. Like, I cruised eBay for months to find a deal on mine, and it was
Yeah.
totally worth it.
Harbor Freight sells they sell an airbrush compressor, but it comes with a dumb.
You are worth more than the Harbor Freight airbrush compressor.
Not really.
Yes,
but
you are. Buy the nice.
I'll take that under advisement. So,
you know, if you want a nice compromise, Micromark makes a knockoff of the Power Jet Pro for $170,
cool.
and it's really nice.
Are you? So what situations are you using the airbrush for besides kind of bringing? I'm guessing that you were bringing to life your dry brush kind of modeled pigment thing. What are the
so
kind of
I'll seal that in.
applications?
I'll do I do a lot of clear coating with the airbrush because it does such a darn nice job and it won't interfere with anything that I've put on.
Mm-hmm.
I will spray color through it. Like, I'll do neck heels, I'll do shading by spraying color through it. You can do a lot with it. Not a lot of violin folks use them, but I do, and a couple of my friends do. It's one of those things that doesn't get used every day, but when I need it, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
I also use it when you use it with shellac. You can pull the brush back so far that when it lands on the instrument, the shellac is flash dried, and it will give this powdery white look, and that's very useful for, I'll call it a safety coat.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm scraping, leveling fill varnish, a lot of times I will spray on a very, very diffuse safety coat in order to, if I know if I hit that when I'm scraping, I'm in a hurry, I'm doing something wrong, and then it becomes pretty easy to wipe off later. I'll wipe it off with probably one of the very few pumicing compounds I use, or polishing compounds I use. I use Novus No. 2 Fine Scratch Remover. It's designed for plastics, but it works really well for removing stuff like that and blending in retouch.
So you're just giving it, so you want to be able to observe if you've colored outside the lines a little bit.
Yeah. If I've scraped outside the lines.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good tip. That's a really good tip.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that when you first do it, it's you discover it as a mistake, and then it becomes a very useful mistake.